Hi, this is a quick video to go through the different features between the free version of G Suite for Education and the new Enterprise upgraded version. The DPS price for Google Enterprise for Education is $24 per user per year. And it's important to know that there's a few things that we have lost already with the transition to Enterprise on October 1st, a few things that we have gained, and a few things that will only be available in the Enterprise version. So the G Suite for Education, the free features include your Google Meets video and voice conferencing. The dial-in, if you were to make a telephone call into the Meet, this is not restricted to the US only. This is probably not a big deal, but if you were to have a student who is, say, in Mexico, who was trying to actually call into the meeting, that could be problematic. I imagine most of them are using the video internet connection, but just in case. We also have lost the ability to have up to 250 participants in a single Google Meet. It's down to 100. And the recordings are now temporary. They will not be in your drive forever. So that will maybe just change a little bit of the workflow. And teachers might need to use Screencastify to record their meets if they want to have more longevity in there. We also have these moderator features, and a lot of these are new. So there's some cool things that are happening here. So we'll take a look at those. So we've had this for a while, but if somebody tries to join the Google Meet from outside the organization, you'll get the message that someone wants to join the meeting from outside Denver Public Schools, and you'll be able to deny entry. One of the things that will happen is when you deny entry multiple times, then the person cannot make a request again. So if you deny entry twice, then people will not be able to see the join button when they try to do that a third time. So that's pretty cool. Another thing is this little shield here. I think most people have figured out are the host controls, and there's a few things that can happen here. Quick access means that when you turn it off, everyone needs to be admitted into the meeting. So this is a way that teachers could start their class, turn this off, and make sure that students are requesting entry into the meeting. It just adds an additional layer of safety and security into the Google Meet and stops things like students from another school crashing into your meeting. There's also the ability to disable chat messages. So you can either do this here within the host controls and you can turn that off and on. You can also do this up here in the Meet chat and you can toggle it on and off here. The last one is you can disable the ability for other people to share their screens. And you can see it's really easy to toggle these on and off. So teachers have the ability mid-meeting to be flexible. And for example, if they are troubleshooting with a student or want to show a student exemplar, they could turn sharing screens on for that, that portion of the course and then turn it off when that's finished. You can also do the host controls by going in here, and again, it's a third way to disable the chat messages and a second way to disable sharing screen. You can still mute participants, and the moderators control the start and end of meetings. We still recommend that all the moderators ensure that all of the participants are kicked out of the meeting before they close down, just for the maximum security. So there are a few additional features that are available to people now. The background blur, if you notice here, my background is blurred, and I can go in and I can turn off that background blur. So I have the ability to switch between those two modes, again, within the Google Meet itself. Another thing that is available is the ability to see up to 49 people by going into the tiled layout here, selecting tiled, and then you can elect how many people you would like to see, and that should be saved as your default moving forward. You can also open a Jamboard. So again, this is great, but you'd be able to either start a new Jamboard or choose one from the drive. When you do that, you start the Jamboard. So it's going to open it up for you and name it so that you have this jam available to you. It's also going to share that link in the Meet chat so that all of your participants can be viewing it at the same time. There's still a few cool features that I think are scheduled to come out later in 2020. Being able to raise your hand will obviously be a nice addition. A really cool one will be when the live captioning in additional languages becomes live, because obviously in DPS that's something that we could take a huge amount of advantage with. So those are all the free features. So everybody will have access to them. The ones that are available now, obviously they can be using. Now the upgraded version has a few additional things. So in addition to being able to dial in from anywhere in the world, keep your 250 participants, you can continue to live stream. So that's something, again, that was lost in the free version. You'll be able to continue to use that capability, and all of your meets will continue to go and be saved directly into Drive. The moderator features you can see are no different, but the engagement features have some additions. So the first one is the long-awaited Breakout Rooms. So when you click onto the Breakout Rooms, you're going to see that everyone is in the main room, and you can start to make some adjustments to the rooms. So you can adjust the number of breakout rooms. You can move people into specific rooms if you want them to be maybe in a group with stronger, weaker partnerships, or where their friends are not involved. You can shuffle to have a more random ordering of your breakout rooms. Again, you can increase the number. You can delete a room if you need to. So all in all, breakout rooms are a pretty nice feature. Once you hit create, you have the ability to start pushing and pulling people into those rooms. Another one of the engagement features is that after your meet, Google will automatically send you this attendance tracking, where basically it'll give you the names of the participants, how long they were there, the time that they joined and exited the meet. So that's pretty nice. I know at least one teacher talked about when he shared with a student that he wasn't giving him credit for participating because he'd been on the meet for a very short time. He said the other students, once they knew there was some accountability, really stepped up their meet participation. A couple of other cool features are up in this activities button where we found the breakout rooms, and you can see it's polls and Q&A. So with a poll, you can basically start one and it's multiple choice. So you can drop a poll in, you can launch that, and then everybody can do the votes, and you can decide whether to show everyone the results or whether you want to keep it private. If you noticed on the previous screen, it does record people's names. So depending on the sensitivity of the topic, you may or may not want to do that. You can also do a Q&A. So this allows anybody in the chat to post a question and also to upvote questions that have been posted. So again, this is a feature that you can turn on and off for different sections of your class. But when you go in, one of the things that we've found that's a nice additional feature of this is that if you had a document that you needed to be pinned into the Meet so that even as people are joining later, they could access it. As I'm sure you know, currently you have to keep posting it in the chat. If you post it as a question, then that is available to people as they join, and it's a little bit more permanent. You can see that the questions are not anonymous. They do have names and timestamps on them. If people wanted to upvote that, they would just do the little star. You would be able to say, yes, I've answered this question, mark it as answered. You could also mark it as hidden so that you can see it, but other people can't. And then of course you can delete it. Once you've got several questions, you can start to filter them by sort of whether they've been answered or whichever ones are popular or newest or oldest. So again, a pretty cool feature that's in there. The last engagement feature is this intelligent noise cancellation. So you can start to filter out any sound that isn't speech. I think some people have reported that when this feature is enabled, it can be difficult if you have any kind of audio playing, like if you needed to play some music or something like that, the students wouldn't be able to hear it. But again, toggling on and off through that settings menu would make that feature available. So there's a few other mostly administrative functions that G Suite Enterprise for Education offers with your additional upgraded cost. And there's more information if you go to edu.google.com/G Suite. It'll take you to this page and you can find out a little bit more if you are interested in that. The one thing that I would say is the unlimited originality reports. This function is something that will only be available starting in January with LMS integration, and apparently right now that's a bit glitchy, so we're not sure how valuable that particular feature will be. But I think if they can figure out that integration a little bit better, then that could be an additional consideration as to cost-benefit ratio. So instead of using Turnitin, it might be a better use of money to invest in, say, this upgraded G Suite for Education package.